Today, we're getting right down to bedrock, the absolute foundation of the entire crypto world, Layer 1 blockchains. If you've ever wondered what really makes Bitcoin or Ethereum tick, well, you're in the right spot, because everything, and I mean everything in crypto, starts right here.
Okay, so to really wrap our heads around this, let's start with a super simple analogy. I want you to picture any crypto network. Doesn't matter which one, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever. And think of it like a house.
Right. And just like any house, the whole thing is only as strong as what it's built on, you know? It's got to have a solid, reliable foundation to hold everything else up. Well, in the crypto world, that foundation, that's the Layer 1.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to cover the foundation of crypto, define exactly what a Layer 1 is, check out its core characteristics, meet the big players, and then take a little peek at the future of Layer 1s. Let's get into it. First up, the foundation of crypto. But look, before we can even get to Layer 1, we need a quick refresher on the ground it's all built on, the blockchain itself.
So what is a blockchain? Well, at its heart, it's basically just a shared digital notebook, a ledger. But here's the magic trick. Instead of one person or a single bank holding that notebook, it's shared and maintained across a huge network of computers. That means nobody can just sneak in and change an entry without everyone else noticing. It's that collective agreement that makes it so ridiculously secure.
Okay, so now we get what a blockchain is. Let's move on to the main event. What exactly is a Layer 1?
This is the key takeaway right here. A Layer 1 or an L1 is the main fundamental network. It's a completely self-sufficient system. It handles its own transactions, it's responsible for its own security, it doesn't need any other network to function. It is that foundation we were talking about.
And you've absolutely heard of the two biggest examples out there, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin, the original gangster, and Ethereum, the one that blew the doors wide open with smart contracts. They are both perfect, classic examples of Layer 1 blockchains.
So what makes these networks so special? What are the core characteristics that really define them as Layer 1s? Let's dig in. It really comes down to these four things. First, they're independent. They set their own rules for security and how they're run. Second, they have a native currency, like Bitcoin or Ether, which acts like the fuel for the network. You use it to pay for all the fees. Third, they have their own built-in consensus mechanism to make sure every transaction is legit. And finally, governance, which lets the people who actually use it vote on where it goes next. Put all that together and you have a totally autonomous system.
Now that consensus part is absolutely crucial, and there are two main flavors. You've got proof of work, which is what Bitcoin uses. Think of it like a bunch of digital miners competing to solve a super hard math problem. It's incredibly secure, but man, does it use a lot of energy. Then you have proof of stake, which is what Ethereum uses now. Instead of solving puzzles, validators lock up or stake their own crypto as collateral to prove they're trustworthy. It's a totally different approach that's way more energy efficient.
All right, enough theory. Let's meet the L1 blockchains and take a look at some of the biggest players out there in the real world. This table is awesome because it really tells a story. You start with Bitcoin. Its whole mission was simple: be peer-to-peer digital cash with rock-solid security. Then along comes Ethereum, which basically asked, hey, what if this blockchain thing could do more than just money? And bam, we get smart contracts and dApps. Then you see the next wave, like Binance Smart Chain, which came in to solve a different problem. Okay, that's cool, but what about speed and cost? So they focused on low fees and super fast transactions. Each one is an evolution.
Okay, so what about the future of Layer 1? I mean, where do these foundational networks even go from here? Because things are definitely evolving.
But here's the thing. Can Layer 1s really do it all? This is the critical question everyone in the space is grappling with. Because as these networks get more and more popular, which is the whole point, right? They start to run into a huge and kind of predictable problem.
And that problem is called the scalability challenge. The highway analogy from earlier, it's perfect here. When a Layer 1 gets popular, it's like rush hour traffic on a single-lane highway. Everything just grinds to a halt. Transactions get slow, and worse, the cost to get anything done, the fees, can go right through the roof.
So what's the solution? Well, you build on top. Instead of trying to make that main highway 100 lanes wide, the smart move is to build express lanes or side roads. In the crypto world, these are called Layer 2s. They take a ton of the transaction traffic off the main Layer 1, process it super fast and cheap, and then just report the final results back. So you get the speed of a side road with the rock-solid security of the main highway.
And this leaves us with a really fascinating thought to end on.
As this technology keeps evolving, are we going to see layer 1s and layer 2s just merge into something new entirely? What we're witnessing isn't the end of layer 1s, not at all. It's their transformation. They're becoming this ultimate settlement layer, like a supreme court for security and finality. So maybe the real question isn't which layer 1 is going to win, but how all these different layers will come together to build the next version of the web.